Welcome back to American Agenda, being selective. It's time now for the other view. Retailer Target making the decision, maybe a good one, to scale back its Pride collection this year, which will now only appear in select stores. The decision comes after the retail faced major backlash, lots of it financial, last year for its collection, which featured kids' young clothing. Yeah, Pride clothing for little kids. Joining us now to discuss this and more, Project 21 member DawnMarie Boursiquot and honorary chairman for Tea Party Patriots Action, Jenny Beth Martin. Jenny Beth, I'm going to start with you here. Hey, listen, I'm a huge fan of Target, but sometimes you see marketing gone wrong. And I'm going to have to say, I think last year was one of those moments. Do you think it's a good idea to scale it back, but maybe not eliminate it altogether?
It's certainly a good idea to scale back. Angering your customers is never a good thing to do. And Target was completely off the mark with what it did last June during Gay Pride Month. It makes a lot of sense to scale it back. And going after our children and marketing this to our children, I think the Target overshot the desires of their audience as they did that. And it is not good for their bottom line. They lost money in year-over-year sales last year. So it makes sense from a financial standpoint to get back to basics and make sure they're giving their customers what their customers want.
Yeah, DawnMarie, exactly as Jenny Beth said. I mean, it really does come down to the bottom line. And of course, Target in the business to make money. And they did admit that the backlash, as Jenny Beth said, it hurt. Yep, its bottom line. Store sales slipped 5%. Online sales dropped 10% in the second quarter of last year. So it does seem to be one of those go woke, go broke scenarios. Do you think other brands are going to heed that advice? I've even seen some iconic cosmetic brands having men on their ads. And I'm going to say I've stopped buying a few things because of that.
I mean, I think that they're pushing their agenda way too far. And I think that if you choose something, that's your choice. But when you try to force the American people to receive something that maybe they don't want to receive, I think it does backlash. And you're alienating an entire group of people that may not agree with your message. So do people need or have a right, especially in America, to express themselves? Most definitely. But we need to use some wisdom in how we do that, so that we're not alienating everybody. And it really goes to the fact that it does look like there's an indoctrination going on. And I think people really saw that for what it was.
Yeah, very good point here. I want to switch gears entirely. A recent article in the Telegraph caught my attention. Woman Judith Wright was writing that Gen Z has lost its ability to manage basic adulthood. She adds that today's teens and 20-somethings have zero expectations of life, delivering anything, so no wonder so many have given up. Jenny Beth, really disappointing. More and more of today's young people think, well, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to buy a house. I really don't need to have a career. Maybe I'll be an influencer. What does that say, not just about today's society, but about our future? I know there's got to be some smart Gen Zers out there. I've talked to them.
Well, I think that it says something about Gen Z, but it also says something about my generation. My kids are Gen Z. My son just graduated from college. His twin sister will be in December. And as parents, we are supposed to make sure that we are preparing our children to go into adulthood and be able to provide for themselves. We can't allow the bad economic situation or whatever else is going on in the world around us to be an excuse for why our kids cannot become adults. And the parents right now need to pay attention to that and step up and take responsibility. Take the phone away from your children and have them pay attention to the rest of what's going on in the world. If they can't balance a checkbook, don't know how to pay bills, and don't know how to answer a phone, then perhaps they don't need to actually be carrying a phone around in their pocket until they can handle the basics that they'll need to be able to do the rest of their life.
Yeah, I have great points there, Jenny Beth. I do think a lot of it comes down to parenting. I mean, good parents generally bring about great kids. And I think a lot of what we were seeing with these campus protests, besides just being a lot of uninformed students, also has to do maybe with some bad parenting. They don't know how to say no to their kids. What do you think?
It's not so much about bad parenting. I remember reading in the book by, I forgot the author, the Millionaire Next Door. He talked about economic outpatient care. Here's the thing. When we spend so much time trying to be great parents, awesome parents, and give our kids everything, we circumvent the process of grit. How many of us know grit? When you put skin in the game, when you've gone through the hard time, you have an idea of what things mean. And children today don't know what kids mean. You have parents saying things like, I want well-adjusted kids, not well-behaved kids. No, you need well-behaved children. They need to understand how to comport themselves in various situations. Think of a butterfly. A butterfly does not become a butterfly if you circumvent the process of the caterpillar. And that's what it is with children. We need to get back to making things a little bit more difficult. Get rid of these participation trophies. You need to earn it and understand that if you want it, you must know how to do the work to get it. And that's what parenting is. We are stewards over our children, and we have a responsibility to teach them how to maintain in the world. Unfortunately, these children and people grow up today with an entitlement mentality that things should work their way. And that is not how the real world works.
All right, let the caterpillars become butterflies on their own. Hard work will get you there. All right, DawnMarie Boursiquot, Jenny Beth Martin, great conversation. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bob, you and I talk about this a lot.
Yes, we do.
You got to work hard to get somewhere, and a lot of parents and even institutions just making it too easy. Oh, we'll give you pass fail because you're so traumatized.
Yeah, I know.
Or again, the participation trophy. What do you think?
Too much codifying and coddling children in our country. It used to be tough. You remember when we were growing up, it was tough.
It was hard. It still is hard.
Your teachers
and I
were
like
tough.
that.
Your coaches were tough. Your parents were tough.
Yep.
That's how you build grit
Grit.
into
That's
our
the
young
word.
people.